Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Addie. Today is probably the reading vlog that I have been most excited to film like ever out of all my reading vlogs, because today starts summerween. Kind of. I am doing this a week late. It's actually the last day of summerween. The reasoning for that is me and my boyfriend just had our 1-year anniversary, so we were together for a few days and it was in the middle of summerween, and I wanted to focus on that, but I still wanted to have the full time for summerween, so we're just gonna pretend like it's summerween right now. But I have been having so much fun watching other people's summerweens and what they're reading and stuff. Also celebrating the first day for me with my favorite Halloween shirt. I have no idea where it's from. I got it thrifting, but it is my favorite and I love it very much. So let's just start with the best part, which I've been accumulating for a while, which is the summerween TBR, and I'm very excited about it. I have 6 spooky scary books that I'll be reading this week. Honestly, one of them might not happen, but I know there's only 5 prompts, but we're overachievers over here, or we're just indecisive over here. So the first book on my summerween TBR is Stephen King's Pet Sematary, and this will be my very first Stephen King book. I am really excited to get into it. I have never read a Stephen King. Honestly, I picked this one for obvious answer is it's pretty short compared to his other books, and at the bookstore I read his little blurb. He considers this book his scariest book, or most frightening book, and I feel like that is not what people often say about his books. I feel like I hear the most about It or The Shining, but this is what he considers, and I want to go summerween all full out. I want to be frightened, I want to be scared, I want to be spooked. So I'm very excited to see what makes this his most scary book. I'm just excited to read it. I chose this book for the prompt of read a book in the dark, which I may come to regret. I wanted to go all out. I wanted to pick the scariest book on the TBR for the one I read in the dark. The next book that I have on my TBR is one that I'm not sure I'm going to get to. This is kind of the 6th book where I kind of just wanted to add it on because I already owned it, and that is The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. I have heard no one talking about this at all. I was at Barnes and the guy looked at my stack and was like, I think you'll like this, and I'm like, all right, you've got me. I'm sold. Say less. I got this. I've heard no one talk about it, but I'm pretty sure when I read the blur, I have no idea what it's about. All I know is it's about vampires. I really want to get to it, but if I get to the end of the week and I'm not there, I guess we'll see. The next book that I have in my TBR is one that I am so excited for, and it is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This is his new release. He's my favorite thriller author. I chose this for a thriller or horror book prompt. This is definitely the one that I am most excited to read just because I love Riley Sager, and I'm just very excited to get into his newest release and see if the plot twist gets me like they always do. The next book that I have is Into the Deep by Mira Grant. I've heard really great things about this book. I've kind of seen it everywhere, and it was kind of a last minute add onto the TBR, so I went to the library and grabbed it. I chose this prompt for book set in the summer prompt. I think this is so perfect for that prompt because, well, it's set in the summer and it's also about marine life, and it's in the middle of the Mariana Trench, so that is just so summer. Also super spooky, so I'm very excited to get to this. The next 2 books I have are pretty short because I think I needed a couple tiny ones in there just so I could get all of it done. But the next book I have is The Legends of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. This to me is the OG iconic spooky story. This is just Ichabod Crane, that's an iconic name, and I've never read the story, so I'm very excited to get to it. I chose this prompt for Night Sky. I got this in the children's section of my library, but it has really cool illustrations that I think will add a lot to the story, so I'm glad I got this version of it so I could feel like I'm really there, you know. But I am excited to read this. I like to know the iconic stories. And the last book that I have is my prompt for a book with 5 words in the title, and for that I have A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll. Like I said, this is a graphic novel, which I feel like will be a very good, fast, quick read. And I think this one is about this woman who gets married to this guy and he has a daughter, and the more she looks back and digs a little deeper into things, the disappearance of his last wife is becoming a little fishy. So I'm really excited to read this. I think the illustrations in here are really cool, and I don't read a ton of graphic novels, but I want to start reading more graphic novels. So these are all the books that I have selected to read for this week. Am I gonna get to all of them? Yes, you know what? Yes, I am. I am determined. But I am going to start with Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, just because I've been dying to read this book and I've been so excited to read it just because I love Riley Sager. And I feel like since I already know I love this author, it's guaranteed to put me in the mood to read spooky books, you know? A little blurb is, a man must contend with the long ago disappearance of his childhood best friend and the dark secrets lurking just behind the safe confines of his picture perfect neighborhood. I'm very excited. Also, I know the book starts with like basically just like these two kids having a little sleepover in their backyard, like with a tent, like fake camping in their backyard, and like just like their little suburban town where like nothing really happens. This is gonna be interesting for me to read because like I live in a suburban town where literally nothing ever happens, and I did those kind of sleepovers as a kid. Like I would set up a tent in the backyard, literally no big deal, you just slept back there. I'm very excited to read this. Yeah, we're just gonna hop right into this, and I'm gonna do some today. I think I'm just gonna read a bit and do a little bit of light decorating around my room to kind of get in the festive spirit. I don't have a ton that I need to do to decorate. All my Halloween stuff is like buried deep into the basement, but I do have some stuff out currently, so we're just gonna do it, and we're gonna make this room super spooky and Halloween vibes, and we're gonna hop into this book. Welcome to day 2 of Summerween. It is now the next day. I am currently on page 178. I'm about halfway through Middle of the Night, and I just want to give you guys a little update on how I'm feeling, and I am absolutely adoring this book. Riley Sager does it again. Never misses with me. I know people either love him or hate him. Me personally, I love him. His plot twists always get me. I'm gripped from the entire book. Like I feel like with a lot of thrillers, the issue for me is I only really care about what's going on the last like 25% of the book, and like, but I want to be entertained the whole time, and I feel like he does that really well. And there are some like horror elements going on in here, and I don't want to give anything away. The most I'll say is there's a little bit of horror in here and along with the thriller, and that is so perfect for Summerween, and I am eating it up, and it's kind of really creeping me out, which is a good thing for Summerween. Last night I was reading it and I had to put it down because I was like, I'm scared. Like this is scaring me. That's exactly what I wanted, and I am completely adoring this book. It follows this guy Ethan, who when he was young, he was having a sleepover in his backyard in a tent with his best friend, and when he woke up in the morning, his best friend had vanished and there was like a hole in the tent. And now 30 years later, he is back in his childhood home, and no one knows what happened to his best friend. And when he gets back to his home, weird things start happening, and he's trying to get some answers for what happened that night. I really like the premise of this one. I love like kind of Like, murder mysteries are my favorite type of thriller horrors. I don't know why. It's very gory of me. It's very morbid of me. That's what entertains me. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but we're not gonna look too deep into that. However, I really am liking the premise of this. I like where he's taking the story, especially implementing those horror elements. I was not expecting that at all. And I'm literally have no idea how this could possibly end because I'm really bad at predicting thrillers. I'm very excited to see how this is gonna wrap up. I'm hoping to finish this today. I am going to switch over to the audiobook of this and do like kind of a spooky puzzle. I went to Walmart today and I got a witchy cat one. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to finish this up and doing my puzzle. And then tomorrow I will update you guys on my final thoughts on this book, and we'll jump right into the next book on Summerween TBR. It is the next day now and I have officially finished Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, and I definitely have some thoughts. How I feel about this book is the opposite of how I feel about a lot of thrillers. In the way that I loved the first like 70% of the book, I would say probably 5 stars there, but the ending I didn't love. I feel like there was such a huge build-up in this book. Like, I was scared, like it actually had me freaked out, and like I was having such a fun time. Like, the suspense and anticipation was so well done because he does it really well, but what it ended up being was just really underwhelming for me. Usually his plot twists like really get me where I'm like, oh my god, like losing my mind. Like, in this one I was just like, oh, okay, it just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was just a little like underwhelmed, I feel, but I still really like his, like I still love his books. I still had a really fun time reading it because, like, as I said, like I liked the majority of the book. Like, I had a lot of fun like guessing and like getting freaked out with like the suspense. So overall I really liked this book. I think it was a really great start, like kickoff to Summerween. It just kind of underwhelmed me at the end, not gonna lie. Only one left is still my favorite thriller by him, but I'm still gonna read all his books because I love him. And I also started a little bit of Pet Sematary. I literally read one chapter in like the introduction a little bit, so I have like no thoughts on this so far. I am excited to read like a horror book because I don't read a lot of that genre, but I love horror movies, and which is crazy because I'm such a little wimp when it comes to them. I get so scared. Speaking of horror movies, last night me and my friends went to go see Longlegs, new like horror movie, and scared the crap out of me, you guys. If you want like a really scary horror movie, I definitely recommend that one. It was freaky, it kept me on the edge of my seat, I was terrified. And also it kind of made me apprehensive going into another horror book because I'm already so scared from that, and I'm like, am I really gonna put myself through this? But in the spirit of Summerween, I'm gonna do it. And I'm having so much fun. I love Summerween. I don't pick up tons of horror unless it's Summerween or like Halloween, actual Halloween time, but I do have a lot of fun when the time has come. I am definitely excited to get further into this. I literally have no idea what it's about. What I've gathered so far, it's about this family who moves to Maine in this house, but there's this really busy road and it's like in front of them, and it's like known to like kill pets, and there's in the woods there's like a pet cemetery for all the pets that it kills, and I have no idea how this is gonna be twisted. I think he's taken a lot of inspiration from like his like similar experience he had. He considers this his scariest book, so I am so excited to read it. And this is my one for in the dark, so I'm gonna read it a little bit now but then read more of it tonight. This is also my first Stephen King book, and I am really excited to see what I think. There's a couple other Stephen King books I want to read, so I'm hoping I like this so I can read another Stephen King book in October. I'm having a really good time. Yesterday I did my puzzle. I did not finish my puzzle. I will definitely finish it sometime this week. I probably just won't film it. Also, listening to Middle of the Night while doing the puzzle was really fun. Thrillers are really good on audio. I feel like it builds the suspense really well, which I really like, because you can't like just like look forward and like see what happens. Like you kind of have to wait for it to happen, so it's kind of like a horror movie but like in your head. So it was really fun. Definitely recommend thrillers on audio, especially that one. I'll probably listen to this on audio a little bit, listen to it while I puzzle a little bit more. I'm gonna read it outside today, and then I'm gonna read tonight. I have no plans this weekend, so definitely dedicating this weekend to Pet Sematary. So that's kind of the update I have for right now. I'm gonna read this throughout the day, and I'll probably update you guys sometime tonight before I get into reading in the dark. It's a little different. I'm trying to be spooky, and I'm doing like a candle lit update. I'm very excited about this. The Bath and Body Works cinnamon spiced candle is kind of ruining that illusion, but it's spooky enough. And I think this is actually perfect because this is definitely the spookiest book I have on my list, so we're going to talk about it because I am halfway done and I'm spooked for sure. I am really enjoying Pet Sematary so far, and this is my first Stephen King, so I'm having a lot of fun like deciphering his writing style. I think the concept of this book is super interesting and honestly literally not like anything I've read. I just got to part 2, and my only complaint I will say is I just don't think part 1 needed to be a lot long. Part 1 was 212 pages. Really nothing like super scary happened. There were some things that I don't think really had anything to do with anything, and I was like, okay, the monologuing, like I understand, okay, like I read the Stormlight Archives and I understand the need for setup, okay, that doesn't go past me. I just think there are some parts that really didn't do anything for the setup that I can see so far, and it's a lot of monologuing. However, what I am enjoying is I think his writing style is really subtly good, because part 1, nothing super frightening happened. Some weird stuff happened, but nothing like frightening yet. Despite that, the way he's writing those scenes, I am unsettled. I am freaked out. Like doing this candlelit update like in my room right now is kind of freaking me out. Like I'm a little nervous, and like that's based on really nothing that crazy happening. Also, this book is like starts off with like the cat acting super weird, and I'm like, I have a cat, and it's funny, like the big like weird thing that their cat has been doing ever since being to the Pet Sematary is like it just stares a lot, and I'm like, please, has Stephen King ever met a cat? Like my cat has the biggest staring problem. Like I will wake up and like she's staring like right next to my pillow. Like she likes to stare. She like, it's what she does. So anyway, I'm like, that's just, I don't know what you people are freaked out about. Like that is normal cat activities. But anyway, I do feel very on edge right now. Also, I don't think like I would finish this. I could finish this tonight. I don't think it's a book that I can read in one sitting. It's kind of a lot. Like it's kind of heavy. Like the things that he's writing about, like it kind of is, it's just really dense. Yeah, that's the best word for it. It's dense and it's a bit heavy, and I just don't think I could read it all in one go. I think I'll finish it tomorrow, but I think right now I can feel it like making me anxious. So I'm gonna take a break and get some sleep tonight. Hopefully like, get myself to wind down a little bit. So yeah, I've officially scared myself, but this does smell really nice. Bath and Body Works fall candles. Hit. I'm leaving freaked out by like my own shadow behind me. So I'm gonna watch Hilda, my cute little cartoon or something, and wind down and hopefully get some sleep tonight. And I'll update you guys tomorrow. give you guys a little update. It's the next day now, and I did finish Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and I really enjoyed this book. I think it was a really good introduction to Stephen King. It was super unlike anything I've read before. I thought the concept was super unique. This wasn't quite a 5-star for me because I think I had a little bit of issues with some pacing, and like I got to part 2, so let's talk about that because I already talked about part 1. Part 2 I definitely enjoyed immensely better than part 1. I understand like part 1 had to set up for part 2. It definitely was frightening for sure. The only issue I had was he kind of went into like these super long like dreamscape metaphors, and I kind of understand like it's been explained to me, that's something he does, but I still don't fully understand what like the evil was in this book. And I wish instead of monologuing about like dreams or I don't know, hallucinations, I would have preferred a little bit more information about what was so scary, because I feel like that would have made it scarier, you know, because like I didn't understand like what this thing was or like why it should be scaring me. It was a frightening concept and I liked that, and I like how he left us feeling super eerie about it, like very unsettled feeling at the end. One thing he also does is like with those like kind of dreamscape, he kind of like makes his characters kind of lose their sanity a little bit, which I kind of saw with the It movies, and this one he definitely did the same thing, like, but in book form. It's really cool because you really can't tell what's real and what's not. He'll be like, this thing happened, but no it didn't, but actually it did, and I'm like, I can't keep up. And I really liked that because it definitely kept me on my toes, and I had a lot of fun with this. This book definitely gave me like the creeps, definitely kept me a little nervous. I'm glad I read this. I feel like I'd rate this probably in the 4-star territory, 3.75 to like 4-ish probably, but I did really enjoy this book. Book 2 is down for the readathon. I started Into the Drowning Deep last night, just a little bit, like literally 30 pages in, but already so far I'm really liking this book. It's about mermaids. Mermaids are like evil. So far it's about this girl, some marine biologist, and her sister was on the crew of like movie production studio, and they're doing like a mockumentary on mermaids, and they're like, oh, like we're not actually gonna find them, but like we're just gonna go out, get some filming done, do some like editing. That ship never returned, and it was found like 3 weeks later, and the footage of killer mermaids was very damning. Now her sister, who's the marine biologist, really wants to find like out what happened to her sister. I have never read a book about like killer mermaids before, so I'm really enjoying this so far. I love reading books about like the sea because I love the ocean, even though I live nowhere near one. I still love it. I love the ocean, I love the beach. Kind of adding that horror element to that, I'm really enjoying. There's also some mixed media in here that I am having a lot of fun with. Not a lot, but a little bit. But today I'm not going to read too much more of Into the Drowning Deep because I really want to read The Legends of Sleepy Hollow today. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm probably going to read this whole thing today. It's literally a children's book, but it has like pages that are just like full pictures, so I'm really excited. The reason I really want to read this right now is because every single book that I have read, 2 books I've read, Middle of the Night and Pet Sematary, but both of them have referenced Ichabod Crane like a couple of times, and I'm like, okay, I have to read this. So I'm very excited because I can maybe go back and understand the references. I kind of know he's like the Headless Horseman and stuff, so I'm gonna get into this today. I'm very excited, and then I will update you guys later and let you know how I'm feeling about this. guys. I have a couple updates for you guys. First off, you guys saw some stores, especially craft stores, starting to bring out their Halloween stuff, and I wanted to go because they have this early in the season they're discounted. So I went to Michael's because I wanted some spooky stickers, and I just want to give you guys a little haul of what I got. You could see that I got the back garland. I already put that on my bed, but you guys could see that in the last clip. But I also got this garland with little ghosts on them, and I thought it was so cute. I'm really excited. Like, I'm already planning for my apartment, and like I move in like late August and I start decorating for like fall and Halloween in September. I also got these little lights, have little ghosts on them because I'm always looking for like ambient lighting, some like fun lighting because I hate overhead lights. Fun fact, I just found these little again, always looking for the lighting, just some pumpkin candles, and they actually smell really good. They smell like pumpkin, which is assumed, but I feel like usually shaped candles don't really have a distinct smell, but I really like this. That was some mini little Michael's haul. I also have finished Legend Sleepy Hollow. I read this today. It was honestly such a good time. I'm really glad I picked this up. It was like a really quick read, but also I'm just happy that like this is just such an iconic Halloween story. Like, I'm just glad to have read it, and it was just really fun. The pictures and illustrations like added so much to the story. It was super descriptive, which was kind of nice, which I don't always love when something's overly descriptive, but I did liked that in this, because like it kind of painted the picture of like autumn in this like old-timey town. Like, it really made me feel like I was like in fall in like the 1700s. Also, fun fact, which I thought was really cool about this, was I didn't know that the Headless Horseman is said to be a Hessian soldier. A Hessian soldier are German soldiers that were hired by the British monarchy during the Revolutionary War to like go fight against the colonists. Basically, they were hired to do all the British's dirty work. And I thought that was funny because my like great something grandpa was a Hessian soldier. Like, that's how my family came to the United States, which is kind of funny that like we fought against America in that war and we lost. I don't know how we stayed here. Weird tangent, but my family was on the losing side of the Revolutionary War. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, so when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, a Hessian soldier, that's crazy. I'm like, Grandpa, is that you? But overall, I had honestly such a fun time reading this, and I feel like I can like understand all the references now, which was fun. Ichabod Crane was like kind of funny. Like, I don't know, he's really sweet, but like also I really like Ichabod Crane in this. Like, the big problem he's going through is like he's trying to win the hand of the girl he likes, but his rival is Brom, great name, and Brom, he's supposed to be the villain, but they always describe him as just like he's full of mischief. He likes to play jokes, and I'm like, that's just really funny. Like, Brom sounds like a good time. I don't know if he's the villain. Brom sounds kind of funny. Overall, I very much enjoyed this book, and I honestly think I just liked reading it in like children's book format. I don't know if all of them are like this, but I really liked the illustrations, and I think that added like a ton to the story. So if you're gonna read this story, I would read this version of it because I feel like the illustrations added a ton to the story. And also, update on Into the Drowning Deep. I am exactly where I was this morning because I focused on the Legend of Sleepy Hollow today. It's currently 8:30, so I'm probably not gonna go to bed until like 11 or 12. So I'm gonna read this for a couple hours and hopefully get further into it. But so far, I'm really enjoying this book. Like, it's really good so far. So hopefully it stays that way, because like Evil Mermaid thing I am really vibing with right now. I'm very excited to continue reading this book and hopefully make a big dent in it tonight. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna bake like some apple pie muffins. Sound really good to me right now. So I think I'm gonna make some of that, and then I'm gonna just read a ton of this, and then I will chat with you guys and let you know how I'm feeling about this when I get further into it tomorrow. sorry about the wet hair. She's a bit damp. So it's been like a day since we chatted. Honestly, I just wanted to hop on and give you guys a little reading update. I have made some progress in Into the Drowning Deep. I'm not as far as I wanted to get because when I told you I was gonna like read a little bit more the last time we chatted that night, we ended up getting a tornado, so everything's fine. But we had to like go in the basement. It was this whole thing, so didn't get to read as much that night. And I'm finishing up my summer class right now, so I've had to do a little bit of work for that. But bright side, this book is phenomenal. This book is so good. I am loving this so far. The first like 30 pages I was super into it. I was like, this is so intriguing. And then probably like 100 pages it was a bit slow. I was like, what's going on? Like, it was a lot of science talk, marine biologists and stuff, so it was a lot of marine life talk. Then I got to like part 2, like 150 pages in, and now like we're starting to like meet these killer mermaids, and we're starting to like, they're now at the Mariana Trench, and once they got there I'm like, okay, this is getting good. And it's just so interesting. I'm loving learning about like these mermaids, and like honestly all the like the theories around like evolution are very interesting, like how like humans ended up on land and what pushed us out of the ocean. Like the suspense is building, and I'm just really loving this book. I'm hoping to finish it in the next couple of days. It's starting to look like I'm definitely not going to get to the God of Endings. It's gonna be 5 books this week. That's okay. 5 books in a week is a lot. I'm gonna have read all the books like for the prompts, and I'm pretty proud of that. But this is definitely my favorite book so far I've read for this challenge. I think I'm definitely going to have to buy this, like the physical copy, because I really love it. I guess I'll have to finish the book to see, but so far it's really promising, especially now that like it's picked up and like they're in the trench. So very much loving that. I think today though I'm gonna take a little break from that because I'm really in the mood for a graphic novel, and so I think I'm going to read A Guest in the House today, and I think it's gonna be quick, to be honest. The reason I want to read this today is because I have been doing a lot of schoolwork today, and I kind of just want to look at pictures and not have to think too hard. I've been really excited to get to a graphic novel, so I'm like, let's just do it today. So I'm very excited to read this. I've been like kind of looking through like all the different pictures, and the art looks really cool. I think I'm just gonna spend the afternoon reading this and then read more of Into the Drowning Deep tonight. But for now, this is what we got on the agenda, and then I'll come back later today and give you guys my final thoughts on one of my first graphic novels other than Heartstopper. So I'm very excited. A Guest in the House, and it was really good. I haven't read a ton of graphic novels, but I had a really fun time with this. The illustrations were honestly phenomenal. Especially I really liked the one where like kind of she goes in her dreamscape, I guess. It's like she's a knight and like she's fighting dragons and stuff, and like the illustrations like this I really enjoyed. And I didn't realize in the graphic novel that I could be like spooked, but I definitely was at some of the like ghost drawings. Like sometimes I like turn the page, I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I don't read a ton of graphic novels, but I really want to start getting into them. I enjoy them when I read them, and they're kind of just like a nice little like brain break because like they keep me stimulated the whole time, which I enjoy about them. I can kind of just look at some pictures, read a little bit of text. It's so much fun and I love it. I don't know why I don't read more of that. but I really like the storyline of this. It was about this woman who marries this guy and his story of like what happened to his ex-wife and the mother of his child is not really adding up, and she's just kind of a small town girly. She doesn't really question it too much. She's like, whatever, I'm married to a doctor, like I'm not going to question too deeply into things. However, the ghost of his wife starts visiting her, and there was a bit of a plot twist at the end, which I really was not expecting. The illustrations in this are 5 stars, but my only issue with it was the ending was a little bit confusing for me. Honestly, it might just be my problem. I might just not be thinking about it the right way or smart enough to understand it, but I feel like they could have been a little bit more clear about what was going on at the end. Other than that though, this kept me really gripped from start to finish. Yeah, if it wasn't for that ending, which I was just a little bit like okay about, but like I did really like the plot twist at the end. And again, the illustrations were amazing and I had a lot of fun with this. This and like The Legend of Sleepy Hollow were definitely smart picks for me, just to have like little breaks in between like the heavy books that I've chosen. Very much happy I read this. This was so good, and I think I'm gonna rate this somewhere like, I think it's probably like 4.5 stars. Not completely a 5, but really up there. And this one I am very much enjoying. The last couple days of the vlog I'm gonna finish off with this. I still have to watch my spooky movie, which I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm gonna watch yet. I really want to watch the summerween episode of Gravity Falls. I've been watching a little bit of Scooby-Doo this week. Not sure when I'm gonna do that, but sometime later. Oh my god, today's Wednesday. That's crazy. There's only 2 more days left of the readathon. That's crazy. But yeah, until then, I'm gonna keep reading this and I will update you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, I officially finished Into the Drowning Deep, which means I have completed the entire Summerween readathon challenge. I didn't read the last book that I wanted to read, The God of Endings, but that wasn't really part of the prompt, and that was just kind of like if I have an extra time kind of thing, and I did not have extra time because I was delusional thinking I would. But I am honestly so proud. I read 5 books in a week, which is kind of crazy. But I actually had so much fun doing this. So I just wanted to come on here and finish out the vlog by telling you my final thoughts on Into the Drowning Deep and final ratings for the other books now that I've sat on them for a little bit. So the first book I read was Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I'm sitting at around a 4-star for this book. I really did enjoy this book. I think the ending kind of let me down just a little bit, but overall the reading experience as a whole was phenomenal and the audiobook was really good. So if you're gonna read this, I would definitely recommend like dabbling in the audiobook. Just love Riley Sager and I'm very excited to read more of his books. The next book I read was Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This was my first Stephen King book. I have very mixed feelings on this still. Made me feel very eerie, very unsettled the entire time. Definitely did freak me out for sure. My only issues with it were I wish it delved a little bit deeper into what I was supposed to be afraid of, because I didn't fully understand like that entity or force or whatever it was. Maybe it's just a style of writing. I'm not super into the long drawn out like monologues, were a little kind of lost me a little bit there, but overall like it was a really good horror book. I was freaked out the entire time, even in the times where like nothing was really happening. I was freaked out. I'm kind of sitting at like a 3.75 for this, or a 4. I'll probably round up to a 4 on Goodreads, but in my head it's like a 3.75. And then I read The Legends of Sleepy Hollow and I'm so happy I did. This book was so much fun. I was obsessed with the illustrations, and honestly it kind of helped me understand like a lot more references that I've just like seen throughout things. I feel like a lot of things reference like Earbog Crane and like this horseman, and I just really liked this version of it too. I really like this tale. So I've seen too that there's a comic or a graphic novel called Hollow that's kind of based off this, and I definitely want to pick that up around Halloween time, so I'm definitely gonna add that to the TBR. This is probably around a 4.5. I really enjoyed this, like the reading experience for this, and I had a ton of fun reading it. And then I read A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll. Really enjoyed this graphic novel, and for this I think I'm sitting at a 4-star rating for this. No, I'm gonna say I'm probably sitting at a 4.25. Overall, really enjoyed the story for this. And then I read Into the Drowning Deep, which saved the best for last, honestly. This book blew the other books out of the water. It blew my mind. This one I'm talking a little bit more about. As you can see, I got it from my library, but I really want to go out and buy it because I really want to add this to my collection. This is hands down 5 stars. I loved this book. So as I said earlier, it is about killer mermaids, and what was honestly just amazing about this book was it was so incredibly well researched. I don't really know anything about marine biology or like the ocean besides like shark documentaries I watch on Disney Plus. It was really interesting to like learn so much about it. Like sometimes it bothers me when books like kind of go into like scientific or like too much detail about stuff, but in this it didn't bother me because I feel like it made me understand like how these mermaids came to be. And I really liked like they were talking about like how the mermaids evolved from this and how humans evolved to land. The author used that scientific talk to explain the theories these doctors had about why mermaids exist or why they have to exist, and it kind of had me believe. It was so well researched, it had me like believing in mermaids. Now I think they're real. Strong believer in mermaids now. I never thought they like didn't exist, but I never like fully was like, oh yeah, like I'm passionate about that they do exist. Now I kind of am. I'm like, yeah, they're out there, they have to be, guys. Like this convinced me. And this is kind of like a horror sci-fi, I would say, and I read some horror, not a ton though, but I don't know why, because I enjoy them every time I read them, but I don't read a ton of sci-fi, and this is kind of making me want to. And this book was definitely outside of my comfort zone, and this is why I'm always such an advocate for stepping outside your comfort zone with books, because that's kind of been my goal for this year, to like read books that I wouldn't normally pick up. And I have discovered so many new genres that I love, like high fantasy, now sci-fi, horror, some literary fictions. So I used to just be a romance girl, and I still love romance, but I feel like now I've just expanded my palette so much, and I feel like it's been such a good thing. This book definitely expanded it even more, and I just completely adored it. I absolutely recommend it. Definitely around, this book is set in summer, so I feel like it would be good around Halloween, but I feel like summerween was the perfect time. So if you want kind of a spooky book now and you don't want to wait till fall, I would absolutely recommend this book. I loved it. Those are all the books I read this week for Summerween. This is probably my favorite reading vlog I've ever done. I am aware though that summer, like Halloween content in the middle of summer is not everyone's cup of tea. I hope it's okay with all of you that I decided to pretend it was Halloween for a week in July. Honestly, I really needed this. I know people always talk about like seasonal depression in the winter. I get it in summer. I think it's just the lack of structure and the weather that kind of just puts me slumpy, and I feel like pretending it was fall definitely helped pull me out of a slump a little bit. So hopefully this was okay with you guys, because it was so much needed for me. It's just, I'm so excited for fall. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a very long vlog. I hope you guys liked that. I love doing the long vlogs. I love watching long vlogs. They're my favorite YouTube videos to watch, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys liked my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fabulous week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.